France 19. Finally something to help this Wales crowd get on their feet. It's from their first attack of the game as well, which is encouraging. Rhys Carey, one of the changes from last week's loss to England. With their first try, Dan Edwards with the afters, but now suddenly France back on the attack of their own. Wales 7, France 19, but for how long?
Thank you, Molly. So as it stands, this is how the top of the Scottish Premiership looks. If it ends up finishing Kilmarnock 2, Celtic 2, and like I say, I'll be amazed if there isn't at least one more goal in that game. But if that's a draw, Celtic go up to 52 points from 26, behind Rangers on goal difference, with Hearts 5 points clear at the top. Rangers Hearts, though, is on the way at 4:30. And Ian Dennis, this season, this game, it's all brilliantly poised.
Well, it is, Steve. Good afternoon to you. And you just said you wouldn't expect you wouldn't be surprised if there's another goal, given what's happened on Tuesday and Wednesday of this week with the nature of the late goals involving all three sides in this fascinating title race. I at all wouldn't be surprised if there's another last-minute goal when you think that Hearts scored late against Hibs on Tuesday. We saw Celtic snatch that late win, and then Rangers throw away a 1-0 lead at Motherwell with a late equaliser against Motherwell at Fir Park on Wednesday. So the title race has got many twists and turns, and obviously this opportunity here for Hearts, who are unbeaten against the Old Firm sides. Let's not forget this season they have the best away record in the league. They've got another chance to take another step towards what would be a first title since 1960.
Couldn't do a day like this without Pat Nevin. Afternoon, Pat.
Good afternoon.
When Hearts were leading the Scottish Premiership early on, if someone had said to you, fast forward to 26 games in and there'll be 5 points clear, you wouldn't have believed that, would you?
It would have been a stretch. Absolutely would have been a stretch. Now, we know they were an improving side. However, we've been there before. Remember, there have been times in living memory when Hearts have had brilliant starts to seasons and then it's petered out. And then even I can remember the last day of the season when they failed to beat Dundee and Celtic won down at St Mirren, if I remember correctly. So, getting this far, considering the power of Celtic and Rangers, is absolutely brilliant. They've been helped with a couple of things. Not least because they've been quite good themselves, but also because Rangers had a terrible start, and then Celtic had this very weird period of time during the season when Brendan Rodgers leaves, they bring in Martin O'Neill as well, and then they change the manager and they had a nightmare. So it's wild things are all going around, and Deno was absolutely right. The stories of this season have been absolutely fantastic. But yeah, in simple terms, would I have believed that Hearts could have kept going this long? Absolutely not. No, and I'm delighted for them.
Well, talking of favours, both of them nearly got another from Kilmarnock, Jane Lewis.
Yeah, absolutely. Tyrese St John Jules, who scored, of course, in the first half with that brilliant, cracking effort, lined up a free kick. He was 20-odd yards out, and he absolutely blasted a ball over the wall. It cracked off the crossbar, so close to putting Kilmarnock in front in this one. This game has had absolutely everything, absolutely end-to-end stuff. Kilmarnock not out of this yet, but neither are Celtic. It could go either way. It's brilliant, and it's 2 each.
Ryan Stevenson played over 100 times in the Hearts midfield. He's with us as well, part of the Radio Scotland commentary team this afternoon. Hi, Ryan.
Hi there, how you doing?
Yeah, really good, thank you. They just keep surprising us, and now it shouldn't be a surprise that Hearts are not just in pole position, but looking strong.
Yeah, they look great. I think any time they've had a little bit of a wobble or they've had a defeat, they've come straight back and bounced back the following week, which I think has been the biggest thing for them, because any time they have, as I said, people have been quick to write them off. But they've just kept going, and they now find themselves, especially after the game during the week where they weren't great, but they managed to find a winner from somewhere late on. They now find themselves in a position where if they come here today and they manage to take the 3 points, I mean, I think it'd be very difficult for them to lose the lead. I genuinely feel they would go on and they would win the league.
Right, Ian, let's get the teams and we can get stuck in.
Yeah, well, Rangers have made 5 changes from the side that drew with Motherwell on Wednesday. Sterling, Fernandez, Romans, Sko-Olsen and Nadiri come in for Tavernier, Giga, Magoma, Diamande and Gassama. So Suter, against his old club, is the only one who's remained in that defence in front of Jack Butland. because they've changed the other central defender. They've changed both fullbacks. As for Hearts, 2 changes from the team that beat Hibs on Tuesday. Halkett returns from suspension. He replaces Kent in the start of defence. And then you've got Agu, who makes his first start for Hearts, the Brazilian. A record signing it was when they signed him in the summer on a 4-year deal. He comes in for Kabore.
Ryan, how strong is that Hearts team then? Because obviously, for those that don't follow it every week, it's quite easy to think when Lawrence Shankland is injured, as he is at the minute, and will be for another few weeks at least, are they going to struggle?
Yeah, listen, he's a big player. He scores big goals. He scores a lot of goals for Hearts. So he's obviously going to be a miss. Cammy Devlin, who for me has been the best player in the country this year, playing centre midfield for Hearts, he's also out, which is a big miss. But they have Agu coming in, who's been a big signing for Hearts. The last couple of games they haven't particularly played well. They're going to have to come here to Ibrox today, and they're going to have to keep the ball. They're going to have to retain the ball. They're going to have to be better than Rangers in the midfield area, and I think that's why he's came in. But in the 2 players in Kizaridis and in Braga, they have players who can change games, who can score goals. So listen, they're as strong as they possibly can be, and even with Lawrence out, I still think they can come here today and get 3 points.
A new Brazilian in the starting lineup is always a great thing, Pat Nevin.
Can't wait to see him. And you're right with Shankland missing, because he's gone through long periods when he's been unstoppable, Lawrence Shankland. And of course, being the captain of the team as well, big part of it, missing them there as well. But he has been missing for a little while, and they've managed to stay at the top of the league, so that's a good thing. And they have brought in a number of players over this season and before, but the likes of Claudio Braga, deeply much loved by the fans as well, and a very, very good player. And you look at that forward line just behind them, Kizaridis, the aforementioned Claudio Brava and Chesnov. They have got players that can do things, they can create things, and maybe a big thing that we almost forget sometimes, fearless. Don't care about Celtic or Rangers. They're here, and they believe in themselves as good enough players, and they should be a team that is winning a league, and that's a really big thing to have on top of it all. So we will be updating about Agu a lot today. We'll see how he likes this atmosphere up here. Don't think he'll like the weather though. It's freezing and horrible.
When it comes to new signings though, Ian, I mean, this is the big difference between this Rangers team and the Rangers team that's already lost twice to Hearts this season, especially across the forward line. New signings, new faces, a new central midfielder as well. This is the real start of Danny Rowe making it his team, I suppose.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, he's coming in from a point where he's succeeded with one of the worst managers in Rangers history, if not the worst, with Russell Martin, lowest win percentage, and obviously they had such a terrible start to the season, eliminated from the Champions League. They had 1 win from 8 before he disappeared. However, Danny Rowe has done well. It's 1 defeat in 18 league games. And the fact that they're now competing for the title, I think not many people would have necessarily expected that at the start of the season. They've only lost twice all season, but both of those have been to Hearts. So they've got an opportunity to make amends for that defeat. Because the thing is, if you watch the game on Wednesday, they're leading 1-0 at Fir Park, but they were time wasting and only leading 1-0, and it came back to bite them when Motherwell scored with that late equaliser. So here. And they're good at home as well. They've won their last 6 at home in the league here, but they are against a side that have got the most points away from home in the Scottish Premiership. 26 points from their 13 games, Hearts. But if they were to beat Hearts today, and I'm like Pat, I can remember back in 1986 too, an Albert kid, 40 years ago. Then all of a sudden, I'm not too sure what Ryan would make of this, but then questions might be asked: are Hearts starting to wobble? Because they've only won 2 of their last 5 in all competitions. But Derek McInnes has been quite vocal about his side. He thinks that there's been a lack of respect, a lack of regard that has been shown to Hearts. So it'll be interesting to see what the narrative is if Rangers do get the 3 points.
That's a really good point, Ryan, because there's actually only 2 possible narratives. There's narrative 1, which is they lose, and then people, as Ian was saying, will ask, are they wobbling? But narrative 2 is that they don't lose, and then people start saying, well, it's theirs to lose now.